Okay, very good morning, everybody physically present in this room as well as virtual online. My name is Philip, and I'll be chairing this next session. It is going to be an interesting session. It's titled Art and Social Connection. What has this got to do with health, you may ask? Well, I'll let the speaker explain the whole thing to you. I'll introduce to you Mr. Stephen O'Connell, who my wife and I met about 2.5 years ago. And we drove all the way from Kuala Lumpur to Penang with his wife Carol and spent a wonderful 3 days here just before the pandemic hit. But Stephen is an arts administrator and an educator with 20 years of experience as both CEO and chair of various major art organizations. He's passionate and highly capable arts administrator and educator and has significant impact on delivery of music, education and performance throughout New South Wales and Australia, where he is right now, and will join us live immediately after his recorded presentation. He's committed to advancing the notion that all art forms are vital for ongoing health of communities. He's been a professional musician and composer for 30 years and a touring musician, recording artist, and written many pieces of music in response to the amazing environment of the central Australian outback. I've listened to some of his music and it's amazing. He's actually written 2 multi-arts shows and performed his own compositions as featured soloist with full symphony orchestra in Australia, and has recorded 3 albums of his own compositions. His presentation today is co-created by Jennifer O'Hara, who's the CEO of Murray Conservatorium, and Stephen will be available at the end for questions and answers. Now, I need to tell you all that he's advised me to advise you that this is an interactive session. So although there are not many in the room, but all those virtual also, please, when you're cued, follow through with some of the things that are being asked to be done, right? It's not going to embarrass you, not going to humiliate you, it'll make you feel good. So here we go with the recorded presentation.
Hi there. Did you know that music can be a key factor in healthy aging? It contributes to holistic healthy aging in many ways. The benefits of music for healthy aging are many and powerful. Today, we will address some of these. My name is Stephen O'Connell from the Murray Conservatorium in Albury, Australia. Along with Jenny O'Hara, I'm the co-founder of Ilara Art. I have been a professional musician and educator for nearly 50 years. In 2017, I was awarded a Medal of the Order of Australia for services to the performing arts. Did you know that music and beer are common to all cultures? Throughout this presentation, we will ask that you actively participate as a way to directly experience how music addresses the pillars of healthy aging. Music addresses the pillars of spirituality and the arts, and traditional and complementary medicine. Spirituality is broadly defined as the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. Clearly, music fits easily into this, and as you can see from this picture, fits neatly with healthy aging. Yes, you too can look like this. In terms of complementary medicine, music can effectively address the fact that sitting kills. Movement can be easily incorporated into music through dance and simple movements such as swaying. Similar to breathing techniques in yoga, music requires deep breathing and phrases. Music therapy is complementary to modern medicine. Now, it's time to get moving. Stand up. We're going to practice mindful breathing. Firstly, take a deep breath for 5 seconds through your nose Hold it for 5 seconds. Now let the air out through your mouth for 5 seconds. Feel better? Let's do it again. Take a deep breath for 5 seconds through your nose. Hold it for 5 seconds. Now let the air out through your mouth for 5 seconds. Now stay standing up because we're now going to chant. Now repeat after me with enthusiasm, verve and panache. The more you put in, the more you'll get back.
I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Dr. Bhaskaran, he's the best. A superstar beats all the rest. I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Professor Tan, she's so fine. I hear she likes to drink her wine. I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Malaysia, it's the best. The benchmark beats all the rest.
Beaut! You just chanted in 4/4 time at gradually increasing tempi and at mezzo forte, which means moderately loud. Now we will do it at a slower tempo, at piano, which means soft. This time it will be in 3/4 time, which is like a waltz, and I would like you to sway in time with the music with your outstretched arms like this. Please take a seat.
I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Malaysia, it's the best. The benchmark beats all the rest.
When I joined, a number of people came up to me and said, "We'd love to be able to sing." And I said, "Anybody can sing." So we started rehearsing weekly, fortnightly, weekly. And it became quite clear that people were getting so much out of it. I was absolutely blown away by how much people were getting out of it. So it has become a really strong focus of the Rotary Club. And we're very proud. I think the club is very proud of the fact that they're one of the few Rotary clubs that have a choir that performs out in the community. It gives us an emotional lift. It gives music, no matter whether it's in a choir even or anything, just listening to music, being involved in music, having music in your life. I've had music in my life all my life.
I didn't quite have the opportunity as a youngster myself. Later in ageing, and it's only been X number of years, but I've never played an instrument. I think I tried a guitar when I was about 16, but then I've actually been learning how to play the ukulele. And that has been a great influence in my life. I call myself a pretender. And when some of the chords are too hard, that's okay because you can just sing louder. And mental health and well-being contribution, it's had an amazing effect in my later stage of life because, you're cutting back on your work sort of situations and you've got a lot more time to be available, I suppose, to doing these things and also to time that you could be more lonely, that sort of thing. So by being able to join choirs and, go along to youth groups or whatever you do, I think it's had an amazing effect on my mental health and well-being. It's kept me busy. Socially too, it's really the people that you meet and have fun with and, laugh with and even have a drink with, I know even mentioning it to my doctor, say I'm doing this, this and this, and when I say singing, oh, that's fantastic, it's just so good for your brain. And I'm hoping down the track that, it will keep my brain going and I won't be suffering from, brain fog or whatever. And even just having to practice songs and learn the words in songs and keep them going in the right order. It's a little bit of hard work sometimes, and I just find it, that is good for my brain too. Overall, it's just made me happier, with my life, and has filled a really good gap in my life.
Learning an instrument and in a later in life when you're retired is something that expands our brain. It's a brain workout, a full brain workout, so they say. I think being a singer, and singing is the vocal instrument, so it's learning an instrument. I think singing is a lot more of a workout because it's a total body workout. So it expands the brain and it also does a lot of good for the body, emotionally and physically. I think as we age, we hold on to that information, we find that information a lot more difficult to hold on to. So doing it alone and learning an instrument, whether it's vocal or an instrument, a physical instrument, alone is sometimes quite isolating. So doing a choir, we're able to be in a more non-judgmental and a more friendly environment. And we can do all these things and learn all these things about our body and brain, or challenging our body and our brain, without being too nervous about doing it. Because I think as you get older, you'll probably get a little bit more nervous about learning.
There's a lot that happens when we start in a choir. And, we might come in and sit down to start and have a chat and that sort of thing, but then we're standing up and we're standing tall and straight and singing. And I just find that, the workout that we get with the muscles within our abdomen and, all up through our chest area, but also too it makes me try and stand taller and straighter. And it's not only that, it's the oxygen that we are having to deep breathe. I've learned because of our choir, to try and breathe more deeply. And I even find that I use that sometimes when sleeping, when you sort of can't sleep for a bit, and I just lie there and I try and do a little bit of the deep breathing and counting that I've learnt to do with singing. I think too the movement around too, because we might bop a little bit depending on the song, and even have been caught dancing sometimes while we're singing in choirs, just with others, because you're having lots of fun. But the movement gets that blood circulating through your body and certainly makes me feel healthier and stronger. And I know it's not quite the same as going for a long walk by the river or whatever, but the blood is still circulating all throughout your body.
Lucky for you, it's time to stand up again. You guys are incredible. You were so good before with the chant that we're going to do it again at a fast tempo, which we will call allegro, and at the highest pitch you can manage. For this, I will call in my colleague Jenny O'Hara, as I have no falsetto. I'm sure you doctors will know what that means.
I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Malaysia, it's the best. The benchmark beats all the rest.
Sounds like a Beatles song is coming on. Now let's do it at a low pitch, at a moderate tempo, that we will call andante.
I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Malaysia, it's the best. The benchmark beats all the rest.
Okay, this is the last time, and we will do all 3 verses at the dynamic marking known as forte or loud, at a medium tempo called moderato, with ascending pitch and tempi through each verse. Let's go.
I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Dr. Bhaskaran, he's the best. A superstar beats all the rest. I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Professor Tan, she's so fine. I hear she likes to drink her wine. I don't know, but I've been told healthy aging's as good as gold. Malaysia, it's the best. The benchmark beats all the rest.
We have been speaking of the relevance of movement. Having said that, it is important to bear in mind the positive influence of mindfulness for healthy aging. This has clear links to spirituality, both in terms of everyday life and in how we can all enjoy music and art more effectively. Personally, I learnt this firsthand after nearly being killed in an accident and then coming to terms with the fact that I hadn't been looking after my spiritual self as well as I could. This drove me to higher levels of creativity and a realisation that some things simply just need to be done. I chose to work in the intense and lonely landscape of the Australian outback, where there is no form of electronic communication. This taught me the value of simply sitting and looking. And now I encourage you to do the same. Look at the film that's about to appear, listen to the words, and then make time to be in your own space. This is an image of the cliff that I was privileged to see, accompanied by words and music that I wrote whilst there. Welcome to Ilara.
So, Bob invited me to go to Ilara with visual artists. I'd never considered going to a place like that with visual artists. Well, I'd never considered it before. And then when I really thought about it, I couldn't see any point in me going. He kept saying, you can write music out there. The music will come to you out there. I resisted, but eventually I said yes, but I'd had too many glasses of red wine. A little while later I decided not to go, and I rang Bob and I said, I'm not going, Bob. And he said, yeah, you are, because I've already bought your bloody tickets. So I had to get on the plane. I found myself in a very, very special place. I couldn't imagine that space until I was there. Nobody can. You have to be there to imagine it, to understand it. When I first arrived, I found myself staring at a cliff that I'm guessing was around about 200 metres long and about 100 metres high. I could see part of the cliff that was painted by Albert Namatjira, and I realised when I saw that what a special and privileged position that I was in. Funnily enough, it made me feel like I was at home. Oh, the animals. They're incredible. There's brumbies and dingoes and the feral cattle and the camels, the snakes, the goannas, and the birds. The birds are the best bit because there's just so many of them, especially zebra finches. You know a zebra finch when you hear it. It's the most beautiful sound. You know, the essence of Ilara to me is that there is so much life and so much energy and so much spiritual connection to be had with something that really doesn't change much. unless you look at it closely enough to see the changes. I'm drawn there because I love nature, and I'm drawn there because the melodies are given to me. They're not mine. I'm just a conduit. Spirit gives them to me. That's what draws me there. I love what it gives to me. I love the peace and the tranquility. I love that if I want to go and disappear for hours at a time and not be found, I won't be found. I can hide. I can do my thing. There's a quote in a song I wrote that says, walk and walk for miles and end up any place where you are. That's the thing. It's, the old saying, the journey's as important as the destination. We need to just have time to be.
Particularly over these past 18 months or so with COVID, I think that there's a lot of aged people, there's a lot of people all over the world, any age, learning to use Zoom technology. And I think that the Zoom technology has been a great bonus in some ways because it's helped us as a group continue, even though choir and singing hasn't been all that possible through COVID. We've been able to still connect. We connect pretty regularly right throughout this whole period on Zoom, and not always just to sing, but it's that friendships and relationships that we've built through a choir that you continue with through this time. As far as rehearsing and working with technology, there's some ways that we do it. In the choir that I'm involved in, we use YouTube and the internet to access music for rehearsal purposes, and that technology for some people has been a little bit more difficult to work out how to use, but it's a thing that now people have become quite familiar with. One of the particular things that's really good about technology is that we do have access to fantastic backing tracks these days, which many years ago we didn't have. And when it comes to rehearsing, it makes it so much easier to learn something. And particularly over these past 18 months when we've had to learn remotely sometimes and connect via Zoom, but be still learning songs on a remote basis because we're still running these choirs, but not face-to-face as much in a face-to-face situation. We're face-to-face on Zoom, but not face-to-face. I think that's something that's changed over the last, particularly over the last 2 years, 8 months, 2 years, with push to the whole world going to online.
To me, it lifts my mood, and because you're looking at other people and just enjoying the fun that you can have in that choir together. It's socially with others, but it's also keeping you fit physically. For a lot of people our age too, reduces anxiety. Because the endorphins in your body sort of, just really start working and keep your brain active. There's lots of benefits, but or so many benefits, not only the emotional side and things like that, but the joy side of sort of being able to get up together and entertain others in our club, and also to performing out there in the community.
Everybody loves music. It's very rare that you ever find somebody that doesn't love music. So, to add a little musical interlude into a club meeting lightens it a little bit and gives people that little bit of joy. They see a bit of joy coming out of it because they can see us having fun, you see the smiles on their faces. You really do see the smiles on people's faces in the club.
We'll need a drink tonight.
Well, you can put that bit in.
That's right, thank you. Now we will address some more pillars. These are physical, wellness, social interaction, and the intellectual benefits of music. Just like in the last exercise, you will be required to actively participate with movement, which in turn will lead to you feeling better. In fact, This social interaction will lead to you becoming a member of a band. You will also start to learn how to read music, therefore increasing your intellectual capacity and literacy skills. In a moment, a basic ostinato pattern of a very famous song will appear on your screens. The notes that are written lower on the page sound lower, and the notes that are written higher on the page, well, guess what? They sound higher. The ones connected by stems are each half the length of the ones that aren't. For the following exercise, the lower notes are to be foot stomps and the higher notes claps. Don't worry, you'll easily follow. Now do as we do. Now, I imagine that you are feeling pretty good after those activities. That's because engaging in music contributes to emotional and mental well-being, as well as social wellness and engagement. Much like a sports team, we just worked effectively to perform together. Well done! If you're doing an exercise such as this with people that have mobility issues, it can be done sitting down and stomping or hitting hands on a desk for the low notes. So, we hope that you enjoyed yourselves. We also hope that you can now more fully appreciate how music can be a key contributor to healthy ageing. There is nothing better for social interaction and fun. The benefits of music for healthy ageing are many and powerful, and today we have only had time to address some of these. We addressed the physical pillar through coordination, breathing and mobility. Working with these songs also flowed through to providing benefits in the pillars of intellectual, emotional and mental well-being, social wellness and engagement. By getting people moving, we addressed the pillar of traditional and complementary medicine. We want to make sure that no one is killed by sitting too much. We utilised the pillar of technology as a tool to teach when I'm 64. For that matter, this whole presentation has shown how useful technology can be as a powerful tool for learning and fun. Finally, we addressed spirituality and the arts by showing that music is an intensely experiential platform that provides a different spiritual experience for each person. Remember at the outset, I asked the question, did you know that music and beer are common to all cultures? Well, perhaps beer isn't entirely wonderful for healthy ageing. However, I'm sure you will now agree that music is.
Well,
Okay, so I think we've come to the end of Stephen's presentation. Can we all give a round of applause for Stephen, please? Thank you, Stephen. So I believe you're here with us. I can see you with your suit on. Yeah, looking smart and jazzy.
Well, as our interplay before went, Philip, we've never seen each other in suits before, have we?
No, and I promised I won't laugh, but I can't help myself. Sorry.
Well, we'll see about that on Sunday, won't we?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we're meeting up on Sunday. So I'd like to open up to any questions, either virtual or from the audience here. If there's none just yet, maybe I can start the ball rolling. I was wondering, Stephen, if you have any information about research that shows the benefit of music and, what you've described in your presentation. Either
yes. Well, there's a lot of research about the benefits of music for particularly intellectual well-being. There's certainly a lot about physical well-being, as I alluded to, one of the most well-regarded researchers in this area is Dr. Anita Collins, who comes from Canberra, where I believe you lived for some time, Dr. Phil. And Anita Collins makes the point that of all of the, well, she's a neurologist, and that's her focus area is into neurology in terms of the brain and the neural pathways that are created when you're playing music. And she's discovered in her research that the one activity that engages all elements of the brain absolutely equally is a jazz musician improvising. So there's that logical side of the brain that's engaged because of the need to be creating something, I guess, coherent, which is linked very deeply to mathematics, of course, because music's very deeply rooted in time. The other thing is the creative element of creating a melody at the same time as you're improvising. So when you combine those two things, those doctors amongst you will certainly understand that you're activating both sides of the brain. She says, and I would encourage you to look into her website, Bigger, Better Brains, that a jazz musician engages every single part of the brain equally, and because of that, and it's at such a low level, we, in her words, don't burn out. We don't blow up.
Great. So I hope that benefit spreads to people who listen to jazz or, sit in a place to watch a jazz band, because that's what we're hoping to do soon too.
Well, you saw that picture of me up there. I'm actually 322 years old, so it's doing okay for me. But did you see the picture of, what's his name, Keith Richards, when that came up in the presentation? Yeah. Now, if he can still be alive, there must be some power in music. There must be.
That's right. Yes, please, we have a question here.
I can't hear, I'm sorry.
You can just repeat the question.
Mr. Stephen, I wish to know, what type of assessments tools you use when you prescribe the type of music, whether tone or pitch, for your client.
What tools we use? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that person's name, so I'll just speak in general terms. The tools that we've measured are in terms of mapping how the programs have gone has been pretty simple. It's been the number of engagements that we have in the programs. So, for example, you would have seen that during that presentation there were two people, they're both members of a Rotary Club. They formed a choir with a specific aim of assist. And I would like to say, just sadly, one of those people has since died of cancer, and keen to feel good, knowing that she was in the process of dying, that we couldn't stop her from doing that film. We understood the pain she was in. We understood the mental anguish she was going through. She got so much out of that presentation that it made her last couple of weeks actually more bearable than it would have been. So that's anecdotal to some degree. In terms of other tools, to be a little bit more formal, I work for the Murray Conservatorium, and at this point I'd like to acknowledge the artist who put together the film, Jenny O'Hara, once more. Thank you for doing that, Dr. Phil. We have a program by which we reach, now this is not healthy ageing specifically, we have schools programs whereby we reach roughly 2,500 children per week in the schools that the Murray Conservatorium delivers to. And I can tell you that the research into the benefits of things such as truancy becoming less of a problem and greater happiness and well-being within the cohorts of those schools has been measured as being much, much higher as a result of the music being delivered. The other thing I'd like to say is that people will achieve, and this is research that you can find, people who study music will achieve more highly than if they didn't.
Brilliant. Yeah, so I hope that has answered your question. And if there are no other questions, I think we'll have to call this session to a close. But perhaps with a proposal, Stephen, if you're up to it, we're looking at developing a healthy aging choir. It could be a collaborative work between Malaysia and Australia. You know, you get your guys and we get our guys. I know my brother-in-law Paul is here, who plays the guitar pretty well, and he sings very well too. So, yeah, we could look at that as an opportunity.
Philip, may I suggest that we discuss that over dinner on Sunday?
Will do. Okay. Thank you once again, and thank you to Jenny O'Hara, the CEO, who helped co-create this whole presentation. It will be available and on our website for the next 1 month, so people can access and watch it there as well. Thank you, Stephen, and one round of applause again for Stephen and Jenny.